Speaker of the House John Boehner keeping the gavel for the new Congress. He was sworn in just today. You're looking at pictures of that right now. But he's not keeping all the House Republican support. One defector joins me now, Congressman Tim Huelskamp of Kansas. Congressman, welcome back to the show. Good to see you. Tell us why you don't like John Boehner.
Well, I like John Boehner. He's the speaker still. But what I don't like is our lack of adherence to conservative principles. We've had a long 2 years that was capped off with, I think, a very bad fiscal cliff deal. And I think we need some leadership in Washington. And John Boehner could return to that and focus on conservative principles and the ideals we hold in the Republican Party.
You voted for Jim Jordan, another congressman from Ohio. Do you feel like he is more in line with your conservative principles of not spending money that the government doesn't have?
Well, I guess now a sophomore, I came in with a class of 87 folks. We said we'd change Washington, and not much has changed in the last couple of years. Another $3.5 trillion worth of debt, and we haven't made some progress. Jim Jordan's been a good leader, but Speaker Boehner will have the gavel at least for another 2 years. And now it's time to focus on the debt ceiling and the real challenge that presents to our economy and our country.
What do you make of the fact that Boehner is signaling, actually saying kind of outright that he's not going to negotiate one-on-one with the president anymore? Is that surprising, or given the track record here, is that just business as you would expect?
Well, that's the way this place is supposed to work. It's supposed to work through the House and Senate, involve more than one man or two men behind closed doors. I think that's been a failed approach with this president. I don't think he negotiates. He simply takes. So I think it's time for the House to pass what we want, and time for Harry to bring the Senate in and decide what we're going to do on this debt ceiling, and send something to the president. And then he can sign or he can veto that.
You know, you bring up the debt ceiling, and that's exactly where I was going to go next, because this could be a very big fight all over again. A lot of people saying that this is where Republicans need to draw the line and to say you've got to quit spending, or we are not going to give you authority to spend more money. Is that a recipe for disaster, and will it reflect in the end negatively on Republicans?
Well, I think the disaster will be if we don't solve our spending problem. We had 2 years in the majority. We made absolutely no progress. Here we are after going through the last debt ceiling 17 months ago, going through it again. But I do believe this is the single largest opportunity. In the next 2 years, we're actually going to either solve that spending problem, or Republicans are going to turn it over and just let Washington continue unimpeded. So it is the opportunity of the next 2 years, and I'm very hopeful that with the message we sent today, that our leadership's going to say, hey, we're now serious about spending, not just in saying, but doing.
You know, you make a good point about debt. Take a look at these numbers. This is the total amount of public debt outstanding. We've got some $16 trillion, more than that, in debt right now. And it's been a one-way elevator up, particularly during the Obama administration. He has presided over just disastrous track record on that score. And now Moody's saying, you know, look, this deal for the fiscal cliff doesn't do a thing for the debt. They seem to be rattling the chains. They're upset. And if they downgrade us again, we could be in for a very rough time in the markets. What do you say?
That would be massive disruption if they did that. S&P warned us 6 months before the last time we faced the debt ceiling. Washington didn't listen. I sent out a press release. I've been making a lot of noise saying, hey, let's not ignore this warning shot. This is serious. I mean, all the politics aside, the fact that we're continuing to borrow money and not changing our fiscal trajectory, not looking at balanced budget. The bill that passed a couple days ago raised taxes, increased spending, and did nothing about entitlement reform. That's a recipe for a disaster, and certainly it's a recipe and will guarantee a downgrade of our credit rating if we continue down that path.
Last time that happened, we lost 2,000 points off the Dow. Not good for people's 401k. Congressman Huelskamp, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Great to talk to you.
Absolutely. Thank you.